For a number of years, I've described the future as a cube with 6 faces spelling the word future, F-U-T-U-R-E, and I've been asked to demonstrate it. Here it is. Fast is to do with the speed of change, technology, fashions, fads, and the uncertainty of life, and having an agile leadership which can respond dynamically to all kinds of extraordinary events that take place. Urban is the second phase of the future, the year of the future. This is about demographics, the 1 billion children alive today, the fact that most people watching this video will gain 1 week of life expectancy every month due to medical technology and progress in healthcare. Then we have tribal, most powerful force in the world today. It's about teams, it's about belonging, it's about culture. Tribalism is about language, brands. Every brand is a tribe, every team is a tribe, every corporation is a tribe of tribes. It's about social media, it's about belonging, it's about affinity groups. The opposite of tribalism is universalism, globalization. McDonald's everywhere, English everywhere, M-commerce, e-commerce, Internet of Things, big data. Our world is increasingly small. Then we have the final 2 phases of the future. R is for radical. This is about the death of traditional left-right politics and the replacement by single-issue activism. Activist movements campaigning on all kinds of issues, very small groups with immense power to transform our society. So many debates today in politics are not about left or right, but they're about some other kind of issue. Whether a country should join the euro or not. It might be how we tackle global warming. And then finally, ethics. How do you live in this crazy world, which is changing so fast that you can hardly keep up with it, that has so many profound urban, demographic, social challenges? The ability to fragment into many, many different tribes and splinter groups. In a way, we feel we're losing identities. We become so universal or globalized. A world that is increasingly controlled by radical elements. The answer is we need ethics. Ethics is all about our values. It's about what drives us. It's about the passions that we have, and spirituality is a part of this. So F-U-T-U-R-E, that's the future. Fast, urban, tribal, universal, radical, ethical. But how do you put all these 6 faces together? The fast and urban faces, to do with tremendous changes in our society, demographics, fashions and fads, they're closely connected. Tribal and universal are equal and opposite forces. They pull in different ways, in different directions. And the more tribal a community is, often the more universal it wants to be as well. And the more universal, the more tribal. So we see in Scotland a desire to become independent, but also at the same time as becoming independent of the UK, wanting to stronger ties with the European Union. That's tribalism and universalism in balance together. But there's another way to look at the cube, which is very important. Here is the dominant view for most business. This is a world which is universal, fast, and urban. This is fast, speed of change and all the rest of it, universal, globalization, urban, fashions, fads, demographics. This is the world of most multinational strategies, the world of banks, of insurers, of Google and so on. But there's another way to view the world. If you turn this cube through 180 degrees, you get a very different perspective on life. You start seeing a world that's very radical in its thinking, very ethically driven, and very tribal, very tight, very together. My question to many CEOs of multinational companies is this. Just imagine a world where a relatively small number of people are very radical on an issue, very ethically driven, and very tightly mobilizing as a tribe. What proportion would they need to be of your market, of those that read the media, those that are watching the TV or reading newspapers? And what proportion would they need to be of your shareholders? What proportion would they need to be of your customers? Very radically thinking, very ethically driven, very tight, tribal. What proportion would they need to be of society to totally change your strategy? And most corporate CEOs and chairmen I've spoken to over the last 15 to 20 years would say less than 2%, 0.5 to 2% would be enough. So the lesson of the cube is this. Whatever your business, whatever your personal life, whatever your strategy, whatever your interests, this cube is weighted. However you throw it onto the table, it will tend to come up for your life at this particular point, your strategy and your product line, with 1 or 2 particular faces which are more important than the others. But watch out. Every now and then, that cube will throw a surprise, and it'll throw up a different combination of features that will open up new opportunities for you. It may create new risks for you. It may create new competitive challenges, but they're things that keep us on our toes. So keep focused on the most dominant faces, the ones which you know are driving your business. It might, for instance, be demographics, the urban face. It might be to do with technology, the universal face. It might be to do with the fast-moving changes in our society, and so on. But always keep the whole cube in view at the same time. keep turning those faces. And remember the different combinations and how they stack up together. Remember, in particular, the fast, urban, universal world and the tribal, radical, and ethical world, because they're very important, very different, and they create all kinds of alternative futures.